What up, geeks? Welcome back to our channel. I'm Mick Fraser and I'm playing God Eater 3. Now, this is... What do you know about God Eater? I didn't know a lot before I started playing God Eater 3. I knew that it was in some way, I want to say, related to Monster Hunter, but I'd heard terms like Monster Hunter clone thrown around and things like that, a little bit disparaging, but not entirely inaccurate, as I found out. It does have a lot of similarities with Monster Hunter, less so now. I think I haven't played the early one, so I can't really compare, but the third iteration, I don't know how many games are in the series, the third iteration that I'm playing now is not overly Monster Hunter-y, right? It has a lot of similar elements, like the crafting, and obviously you're fighting, you know, oversized monsters with oversized weapons, and it's very Japanese, and you know, that kind of thing. And it all takes place in sort of enclosed areas, and there's a hub. There's a 4-player multiplayer mode, which isn't quite as drop in, drop out as Monster Hunters is, but it's still, you can still do it. So I'm going to play some God Eater 3 for you. I'm going to start a new game so that you can see the character creator and stuff like that. So I'm just going to talk you through it. I won't keep you for too long, but I want to show you it. Mikhail's review will be up, I actually think, by the time this video goes live. So go on along to godisgeek.com and check that out. And yeah, I'm just going to sort of show you a little bit about the game. I know there's an awful lot of stuff out this year, like this time this year. There's some crazy stuff coming. We've got Crackdown 3, and you know, we've got Anthem, which is really soon, and then Division 2's not far away. You know, there's a lot of stuff happening, so you might not get a chance to check it all out. So this is what this is for, so you can just sort of see what you're missing or not missing, as the case may be. So it's like in a future world where humanity's been reduced to sort of a few pockets of survivors, because the world has been overrun by this stuff called ash, and within the ash there are these monstrosities called aragami, and the aragami are essentially giant monsters, and certain children, like these guys on screen now, are taken to places called ports, and they're raised to fight aragami, and they're called AGEs, AGE, which is a bit confusing. Basically, it's adaptive God Eater. It means that they are equipped physically to lift ridiculously big weapons and fight giant monsters. Not bad work if you can get it. So yeah, basically what's happening is they're giving us the Ash Blight, which basically corrupts the AGEs with the Ash. Well, it's a virus or what, but they give you Ash Blight so that you can withstand Ash later. So, not really very pleasant, but there you go. And then you got the character creator. There's quite a lot of choices involved as well. There's a lot of customization, and I'm going to call him quite imaginatively Mick, codenamed Mick, because why not? Now, yeah, so you got all your hairstyles. It's pretty standard stuff. They just did an update, actually, before release that added a few new things, a few new accessories and hairstyles and things. I don't think it added hairstyles, actually. It was accessories and stuff like that. But, yeah, I quite like that. Looks pretty cool. We'll do his hair colour in a minute. Let's pick a face. Let's find someone who looks mean. Not him. Stone cold badass. Eyes, they'll do. Eye colour, you want blue? Foxy brown. Oh, fox brown, not foxy brown. Sea green will do. Hair colour, you can add like a highlight to it. It's a bit red. Very green. Do we want purple hair? I'm not sure we want purple or blue hair. Let's have black hair with the blue shine. Da, 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 da. Skin colour. Let's tan him up a little bit. Too much. Now you got the accessories. I think we'll go down to the eye patches. Eye patches just better. I don't think we don't want pretty ribbons. Some headphones because he just doesn't give a shit. It's just too cool for school. So let's do that one. That's pretty sweet. Let's go. Yep, new save data, please. So this guy is Hugo. Hugo's like your first companion and pretty much best friend, lifelong partner, that sort of thing. Hugo's got your back, basically. It pays to have friends as well in the world of God Eaters. We actually look like brothers because of how I've made my character. That wasn't intentional, but there you go. So if they have a little bubble above their head with 3 dots in it, that means they want to talk to you about something. You have to do that before you can carry on with the story. So I'm going to show you this terminal here right now. Here you change your equipment, your loadout. So it's like similarly to Monster Hunter. Rather than classes, you just get to change weapons. Now you can change your weapons at one of these consoles whenever you want to, but it's better to stick with one particular type of weapon because then you're going to be upgrading it or gathering materials to craft better versions of it. Unlike Monster Hunter, I'm not going to stop the Monster Hunter comparison soon, I promise, but it is very similar. So, but unlike Monster Hunter, you have a ranged weapon and a melee weapon, and you always have your shield. So let's build a slightly different. My main uses the ring, which is it's called a heavy moon, which is just an awesome weapon. Just looks brilliant, but we're not going to use that. I'm going to go for something that I haven't used yet, which is this lance with this dude, with Mick. So we've equipped the Amit lance. These are your specials, but you have to go through the story to unlock them. So I'm going to pick the sniper. I've not used that yet. And I'm going to choose a slightly more powerful shield. Over here is a mission screen. You go onto this monitor and this will tell you where the mission is. Later on you get into like a roving vehicle and then you've got a young lass who sits behind a counter and she'll give you your missions. But at the beginning, for the first few, it's like this. Pretty straightforward stuff too. So they're going to send you in, you and Hugo. Once you confirm your mission, gives you the small print and you're off. The one thing I will say about this is there's not a great deal of variety in things like the enemy types. There's a lot of different enemies, but there's not a lot of difference between them in terms of like what their colorings and things like that. Everything's sort of like the same, built from the same pool of colors. It's a little bit infuriating, and the environments are the same. There's not an awful lot about the environments. I mean, I've got quite a way through the game. I'm about 6 or 7 hours in on my main playthrough at this point, and there's not a great deal of diversity in the environments. You know, they're a little bit bland. So here we go. These little beams of light here, it tutorials everything. There's even a mission where you just have to come in here and pick stuff up. It's a little bit hand-holdy, to be honest. And you kind of have to run around for a bit in this first mission before anything happens. For reasons best known to the creators of God Eater 3. Because they could just throw you into the action and you wouldn't mind. In fact, you prefer it. I prefer it anyway. And these massive tutorial things just get in the way. It's telling me move camera. I know already, you know, work that out myself. So here we go. Takes a while, but finally. See what I mean about the tutorial bars? They're a pain in the arse. They get right in the way of everything. But there you go. And how you see what I did there? I held down triangle and it makes your weapon, your god arc, turn into a giant mouth and devour the enemy, which in turn allows you to scavenge stuff. So that's how you carve in this game. I need to change my lock-on because the lock-on is really annoyingly defaulted to holding L1, which is just a pain. Well, you can change it so that you just tap the right stick or click the right stick and it locks on instead, which is a lot easier. But you can see there's you're getting you understand why there's a Monster Hunter vibe for this game, right? Why people have compared the two. I think the original God Eater was intended to be a kind of a Monster Hunter killer, if you like. Because when you're locked on, you can do this cool thing. If you hold the right trigger and press X, you do that. Show you that again. Where you'll just charge towards them with your shield up. It deals some damage and it closes the distance really good. Plus, if you've got flying enemies, which you've got a lot of later, it's a good way of getting up into the air so you're on their level. There you go. That's mission 1 done, son. It gives you like 30 seconds or so at the end of a mission to go around and sort of hoover everything up and collect everything that you might have missed or left lying around on the floor, or devour the enemy corpses. Then you get a little screen that shows you how you did, and in true like a JRPG, everything's got a rank from sort of whatever F to triple S, and that dictates the sort of rewards you're going to get. So I'll show you mission 2, and then I think I'll skip into my other character and show you a quick mission from later on in the game, so you see sort of how it changes. So you notice that now I have a different compadre. We rescued Zeke in mission 1. And he's just replaced Hugo for this mission. Usually later on you've always got 4. I wish you could just press 1 button to guard. I don't know why you have to press R1 and circle to guard. Really annoying. It's just like deliberately fiddly. I really don't understand why. You can probably change that actually. I don't actually know. I didn't look. Let's look. You can guard with circle. Let's try that. Yes, you got tutorials on how to collect things in mission 2, and you've been doing it for the whole of mission 1. It's just a bit weird. It's not the best opening to a game. It's not the best first impression, because for the first part, the early missions, there's so little going on because it wants to tutorial you on what button to press to pick things up. But it's really boring. It takes a long time before it gets really, really interesting, but believe me, it does get really, really interesting. Well, it remains kind of button mashy throughout. It hasn't really ever become not button. I mean, I've done about 18 missions and I've not died yet. I've not really had much of a challenge yet. See, that mission's over already. I know it does up the difficulty as you add, actual players as opposed to AI characters, but it needs to, really, because it's pretty simple. So this is I'm going to say my main, right? This is the one I've been playing most of the game with. I'll show you. You'll see now the difference in this, the first character I showed you, and this one. This one's 5 hours in, about mission 18. So now you'll see that on my main weapon, my melee weapon, I've got these things are like Carnage Moon, Falling Moon, and Super Moon. These are called burst moves. So you build up a meter during a fight, and when it's full up, you can use special moves that do massive damage. I've got these things called burst arts, which kind of add extra damaging effects to your burst moves. So yeah, I've upgraded quite a few things. I've got this, which is a link. So when you're fighting, you'll build up a little meter with your teammates, and then when they start glowing yellow, you hit left trigger, right trigger together, and you'll link, and that link gives you extra abilities that last as long as the link lasts. So yeah, so I'll show you a mission, probably do a slightly earlier one, because you can replay missions. So here we go. This is one of the larger Aragamis. You can see a little bit more screen filling than before. Quite different though, like I said, to what you'll be used to if you're a Monster Hunter player, you'll be used to sort of large enemies, but it's very different to... The enemy design is very different to what you've seen before. It does have its own identity, let's be fair to it. Especially now, it might have taken it, you know, several games to get there, but it is now more than, you know, just a Monster Hunter clone. It's very different. I mean, yeah, so, you know, you fight enemies, you harvest their bits to make new armour and weapons, but that's really where the similarities end now. It is very much its own game. But you can see that if you were to go into a game like the aforementioned Monster Hunter or Dauntless or something like that, oh, I died because I'm talking and not paying attention. I was revived. But yeah, if you were to go into something like, you know, Monster Hunter or Dauntless or something like that and just mash buttons, you wouldn't last very long. Whereas in this, you can kind of get away with it to a certain extent. So you see this red bar at the bottom of the screen, that's my burst gauge, and I can see that's a burst art. And they are just powerful moves that you can use until that bar is depleted. And they do a lot of damage. The thing I find with this is, or the reason you can get away with just button mashing, is because the enemies don't feel like they have that kind of set pattern that we're used to seeing in boss rush games. Like, you know, usually there's something you can follow and you can learn and you can you know, use tactics to sort of work together and bring them down and things, and they're usually quite clever. I don't want to be unfair to God Eater 3, but it doesn't feel particularly clever. It's really just more about killing it as fast as possible. It doesn't feel very nuanced. It doesn't feel bad. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's bad. Well, this guy's harder. I think it's because I'm tougher. They must scale somewhat with you because he was a piece of cake last time. But yeah, I don't want to be unfair to God Eater because you know, it's not. It wouldn't be fair to say that there's not a certain appeal. And I can understand why people would really like this game, and I'm really enjoying it. You know, I've got no intention of not seeing it through to the end. It's fun. This guy's actually, yeah, there you go, defeated. I thought I was going down that. So there you go. That's a tougher boss. It's not. It's a really weird game to sort of show you. You've kind of got to play it because there's so much going on, and it's really dense. Like, I thought that sort of a game like Monster Hunter was dense because there was a lot to learn, but this is insane, and I'm still learning it myself. But that's the beauty of it, I guess. That's why people play God Eater games. I think that if you're a fan of God Eater, then you know what you're getting yourself into. I didn't. I do now, and I do enjoy it. I think it's really good. But there you go. Like I said, Mikhail's review is up by now, I should think, on godisgeek.com, so do go along and check it out and see what he thinks. He knows the series a lot better than me, so he'll have a much more informed opinion of it. I just wanted to show you what the gameplay looked like. So yeah, go over and check out godisgeek.com, and in the meantime, I've been Mick Fraser, and you guys have been lovely. Bye.